Welcome back to another episode of Britt and Nick Do the News. Britt and I were away last week on yet another trip. I was in Nisswa, Minnesota on a company retreat. We stayed at Grandview Lodge Resort, which was very beautiful. It was right on Gull Lake. Nisswa, Minnesota has a very cute downtown area. It spans about a block and a half, but it is very colorful and very quaint. I did enjoy pickle wings. There was a restaurant there on the strip called Main Street Ale House, and it brined their wings in a pickle juice and then did a salty pickle rub on top, and they were fantastic. I was only there for 4 days, and best believe I went back and had seconds on that. Minnesota is known for Bigfoot, so a lot of Bigfoot memorabilia, and also walleye seems to be a very popular fish in the area. I got a lot of good reports of delicious walleye fillets at many restaurants that the company ate at, so definitely appreciate it. But enough about my trip. Brittany, the birthday girl, she had her special day last week and took a beautiful trip to Nashville, Tennessee. Tell us about it, Britt.
Hey, girly. Yes. OMG. First time in Nashville. It was so cool. My husband and I went over there. We drove, and it was only about 7.5 hours too. But it was amazing. Gorgeous city, lots to do. I mean, so many venues with live country. The streets were bustling. The downtown was incredible. So many rooftop bars, lots of those pedaling bars where people just hop on and pedal around. They had wagons. They had horse-drawn carriages. I mean, it was the works. It honestly kind of put me in mind of Times Square during Christmas season. It was madness. And also the weather was hotness. It was probably about 85 degrees all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But it was absolutely one of the best times I've ever had. We went to the Frist Art Museum, and that was gorgeous. It's really cool because they put in different installations every so often. So it's always rotating. So you'll never see the same thing twice. It's pretty badass. We hit up, of course, a few bars. Had to. You can't not. Some candy shops, a few other stores, and I had to get my fair share of river time in. Anytime there's water, even if I'm not getting in it, I'm going to go see it. So we had an amazing time there. Now, on the way back, well, that was a different story. Since all the storms have washed out a lot of the roads and everyone is being redirected, our journey back took us about 10.5 hours. We originally came through Virginia and through Knoxville, Tennessee, but then it had us go through Atlanta, Georgia, and then swing by Columbia, South Carolina, all the way back through. Well, let me tell you what, it was not the most enjoyable experience, but we still made it through. And for that, I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah, I'm grateful too that you made it back. I do have a question though. I heard there was a big game, Vanderbilt versus Alabama, where they picked up the field goal post and carried it down to Broadway. Did you see any of this go down or no?
I did not get to witness that, but boy, howdy, I wish I did. I would have been rolling film. I don't really use Snapchat, but I would have been on it, doggone it, because that sounds like so insane, but at the same time, super fun and collegey. So
there was no word on what happened to the goalpost, but they literally launched it into the Cumberland River. I really wish you would have caught some of that action because, yeah, that's quite the event, to say the least. But yeah, enough about college football causing a stir. What about that Hurricane Helene? You drove through parts on your way back, on your way there. And you were pretty much in the field to assess the conditions of what devastation took place.
It was absolutely devastating. I mean, half of the roads were gone, so we couldn't take the ones through Asheville, which would have been the easiest route. But as we know, those spots are some of them underwater without power. The road is halfway gone or currently under repair. When we came back through the Georgia, South Carolina line, they had a lot of the stuff blocked because they were repairing light posts and electrical posts. So that was pretty intense. But at the same time, glad to see they're getting stuff done, but not near enough done. Asheville is still waiting on a lot of assistance. They are not getting the help that they need. And this is not just one media outlet reporting on this. This is several people. It's on social media. It is all over different platforms. And in fact, the government has been dragging their bums so long that private citizens, civilians are giving up their giant aircraft and any sort of helicopters that they can to go and rescue people. And I was hearing that even FEMA was attempting to block these rescues. Now, why would you try to block the saving of American lives? That's just very interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, even Elon Musk is kind of echoing that idea. Still kind of hearsay, but like you have witnessed yourself, it seems like they are not receiving the help from the government. But I'm glad that, the devastation has brought other people together to assist. They're saying that damage is upwards to $30 billion. And, with the little amount that people are able to donate, I mean, North Carolina is receiving $27 million in individual funds, and like 83,000 people are signing to help and volunteer to get things back in order. So yeah, they are coming together. And then you have some big heads like Dolly Parton. She's donating $1 million. And then you have the CEO of Walmart, John Furner. He's giving 10 million. So people are coming together and they're trying. And Asheville, it was hit so hard, the hardest out of all 6 states that were affected by Hurricane Helene. 230 and counting is the death toll. And the number is still going up because people are finding their neighbors deceased. It's very sad. And, we can't get another devastating hurricane. We got Milton coming up towards Florida. Milton is said to be Category 3 as it hits late on Wednesday in the Tampa Bay region, and will kind of settle down to Category 2 on Thursday as it hits the city of Tampa. But they're saying, hey, don't think it's cooling down, because this one might rev back up. And they're saying, even the mayor, evacuate. This could be your life. So they're having 11 counties evacuate. That's 5.9 million people that need to go elsewhere to just find shelter. And they're even taking measures like cutting off the water supply just to help prevent flooding. So, and the counties are kind of doing that. But city of Tampa, they're going to keep the waters on.
Well, hopefully they handle it better than they have been handling Hurricane Helene's devastation. In fact, they have handled it so poorly that Mayorkas is coming under fire. Kamala, Biden, everyone is really kind of turning their backs on them. They're very disappointed in the response, the lack of response, rather. The seeming uncaring. I heard that even the firefighters support
the International Associations of Firefighters. Yeah, they definitely made mention that they are not endorsing Kamala Harris for president. And it might have something to do with what went down after Helene.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Seeming like former President Trump was in the mix, and he has also donated millions of dollars as well. He was visiting the areas. He was down in Valdosta, Georgia, making the scene there. So I don't know if everyone's necessarily pivoting to support Donald Trump, but they're definitely backing up from Kamala Harris, because Trump's also got some other stuff in the mix. He says that if he becomes president, he would like to, here in my current town of Fayetteville, North Carolina, he wants to turn Fort Liberty back to Fort Bragg.
I mean, that's interesting, Brittany, because I've been down to Fayetteville a couple of times this past year alone, and I've only known it as Fort Bragg. This whole movement to remove Confederacy has been, a big agenda. And I think he's standing up and trying to turn the tables on, hey, let's bring back what the history was. And plus the people in Fayetteville still call it this. So we might as well just call a spade a spade. Also, though, in your town of Fayetteville, you may be getting a Whataburger. What is this?
Yeah, girly. So actually, the first time I ever had it was here recently on the outskirts of Nashville in a place called Hermitage. It was my first Whataburger, and I loved it. It was a great experience, and I wish we were getting one in Fayetteville, although it probably will make its way down to here or Hope Mills, but apparently it's going to be up in the Triangle. They're trying to add it into an old Applebee's space as well as a PDQ. Pretty darn quicks. They will be putting in 2 Whataburgers up in Wake County. And you bet your bottom dollar I will be riding up there to get my taste again. Because why? It's so close. That's only 45 minutes to an hour away. I'm going to go get me some more. So thank y'all for bringing it to us, because currently the closest spots are in Tennessee and in Georgia. So I can see it hitting up North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida and everywhere else. Because why not? Let it expand, just like Bojangles. Then they get a Bojangles in Frederick.
Oh, yeah, we got a Bojangles. I have yet to go over there because, of course, everyone storms the doors as soon as they open. But yeah, I mean, Whataburger was good, but I'm sorry, Brittany. You will say until the day you die that Roy Rogers doesn't have anything on these other fast food chains. And I agree. It's the meat. It's the variety. Nothing can hold a candle to it.
Roy Rogers is the most superior fast food establishment I've ever had the pleasure of gracing. Yes, Roy's 10 toes down is the best fast food, and it's a Maryland treasure, as in its locations are really only in Maryland, with Frederick having the highest concentration of 6.
Really, Brittany? Coming with the facts.
With the fats, actually, babe.
Saturated fats. All right, let's move it overseas to Israel. Monday, October 7th marked a year since Hamas had killed and kidnapped Israeli hostages. President Biden lit a candle to commemorate the year that this had all started. And since this war in Gaza has begun, 41,000 killed, and it is just not easing up, and it is not looking any brighter.
It's terribly sad. It's 1 year strong, and unfortunately, it feels like almost it was just yesterday, yet forever ago. When stuff like this happens, you like to think that it would get resolved quickly, but unfortunately, it rarely does. I mean, the stuff in the Ukraine and the Russian war was kicking off Christmas 2022, and we're about to be in Christmas 2024. With really nothing solved except for more money out of the Americans' pot and more dead bodies on the ground. I mean, they really got to figure some stuff out. At what point is it worth it? Is it worth killing people? Is it worth destroying lives, displacing children from their homes, having people live in fear and constant paranoia? It's madness.
Indeed. Last week, we had the vice president debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. And honestly, it was a little uneventful. I was kind of looking for J.D. Vance to have diarrhea of the mouth and say some ridiculous things. So I was a little disappointed, but, I'm glad everyone kept it kosher and just kind of focused on who their running mates were. And, I guess gave a basic rundown of what they believed. I didn't really get much out of it, but I know SNL got a lot out of it because they are spinning all of these political events and making them hilarious. We got, Maya Rudolph. She nails Kamala. Like, I freaking can't with her. Hilarious. Her husband, played by Andy Samberg. Amazing. Then they got back Dana Carvey, who freaking is an amazing impressionist. He's playing Joe Biden. I can't stop laughing at him. He's also nailing it. Then we got Bowen Yang, which, I mean, he pulls off JD Vance, especially with the eyeliner. And then Jim Gaffigan, they got him on the lineup playing Tim Walsh. And I just think amazing. They freaking kill it.
For real, chef's kiss. They are incredible. It makes it all kind of worth it when you get to see the hilarity and the comedy represented from pretty much real hilarity and comedy. I agree with you. The VP debate didn't really provide much, kind of echoed their sentiments as they always have and their support for their presidential elect. So we shall see. I didn't get much out of it, but I do think it's funny that they were trying to ask JD Vance about the quote unquote lies about the Haitian folks eating cats and dogs. And he pretty much rebutted saying, I thought y'all weren't going to fact check. They are. And also, I will say this. It was much more level and steady compared to the presidential debate.
Oh, I agree. A new limited series came out recently about the Mendez brothers. They were brought back into the spotlight with Ryan Murphy creating Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Mendez story. I've seen many documentaries of these twins, and it is a very interesting case because the biggest allegation, that came out on the defense side of things was that the brothers were molested by their parents, which prompted them to kill them. And I mean, no, killing's not right. And no, I don't think they should have gotten a lesser sentence. It does bring it into question, what should the sentence be? And I think with this whole series, people are questioning if these guys should get an appeal or that these guys should get released, according to Kim Kardashian. I mean, Ryan Murphy's even saying that he thinks these twins will be out by Christmas. Like, what are your thoughts?
Oof. I love Santa Claus, but I don't know if he's capable of delivering gifts like that, especially so expeditiously. But I will agree with you on the sense of they're bringing more light to people that have been beat up, molested, raped, psychologically tortured. It's obviously a very giant factor in murdering somebody, sort of like the Gypsy Rose Blanchard thing. She was constantly poisoned and brainwashed by her mother. But that also goes to the same point of, yeah, your family might be evil, but you can get away from them and go to the authorities or just straight up run away, tell a neighbor, tell another friend, tell as many people as you possibly can to get some stuff done. I don't necessarily think that murder should be the option. And if you do choose to go that route, sometimes you may have to suffer the consequences with jail time. And if you do end up getting out, I certainly don't believe that Lifetime should sponsor a show about you. This is not a running documentary for Gypsy Rose. This is a full-on, let's follow her around while she goes to, the Bojangles. No, madam, no. We're not going to fund your pockets because your mom was a psychopath and you happen to get let off the hook. You could have just went to your boyfriend's house and just stayed there. You didn't have to come back and murk her. That was a choice. It was a wrong one. And if you're paying the price, so be it. If you're not, I still don't think you should get a contract. That's Odd Squad to me. So, what happens is what happens, but I think they should get at least some more information out about abuse, about psychological devastation to minor children in terrible situations like that.
Honestly, Brittany, I think these criminals are getting a little over sensationalized. The fact that we can spin things with media and we can bring things to light, it can curb people's opinions. I know that there was a local story, became a podcast, the first season of Serial. It was about Adnan Syed, and he was convicted of killing his high school girlfriend, Ayman Lee, in 1999. And just all the little loopholes and details that this podcast came out with. Like, they basically spelled out how so many ways went down of how he possibly did not kill this girl, but they went with the fact that it was possible that he did and convicted him. After listening to the thing, I was kind of convinced that maybe he was innocent and maybe he should get an appeal. And I guess the state of Maryland, the Supreme Court, also agreed and allowed for him to be retried. Just the fact that the case was brought up in a limelight that regular cases did have an impact.
That's right. I feel like media can be great and it can be also not so great. But I do think it is awesome that during more current times, people are illuminating mental health issues and abuse scandals and stuff like that to kind of really shine light on the real criminals that sometimes precipitate other criminal actions by someone that was originally a victim.
Oh, yes. All right, let's turn a spotlight on college women volleyball teams. They are refusing to play trans teams. Brittany, I kind of agree. I don't really think it's fair to have the two compete. I don't know exactly which gender the trans are able to claim. I'm guessing they're male claiming female. And so competing against someone with testosterone, there is an unfair advantage. It's clear. And yeah, I kind of agree that they're standing up for the fact that it's not fair and making a statement.
I couldn't agree more, Nick. It is 100% not fair. And I'm not saying trans people shouldn't be able to play sports. They 100% should. But they need to play sports against other trans folks. I don't know which direction, FTM or MTF, but regardless, the transgender people need to stay within their own bracket. It is just unfortunately very unfair to either side. It's a disadvantage to if you're a female and you're playing against males. There's just obvious physical differences and advantages that biologically born men have when compared to biologically born women. That's just facts. Feelings are different than facts. And if you don't have enough trans people to play against one another, well, might need to sit it out until a few more people lie on the operating table and slap some hormones down their throat.
Across seas, Spain actually came up with their first transgender soccer team. It debuted on September 21st, I believe, against a male team, and it was a devastating blow. They lost by 19 points. So yes, the advantage is unfair, to say the least. Spain was actually, they passed a pioneering trans rights bill that actually made it easier for people to change their gender officially. So they're kind of supporting the whole initiative, I guess.
Understood. Well, see, there's a perfect example. Sometimes it works in the trans community's favor, like they're going to beat the female team, but when it comes to straight up dudes, they're going to lose. So there you have it. We volleyed it. And speaking of volleyball, we volleyed it back over to you. How you like them apples? Or maybe you used to like them and now they're gone now. And that's all right. But you can't play with us.
Playing with us. Well, you know what's not going to play with us, hopefully in the near future, ovarian cancer. They are working on a vaccine over in the UK. We got Professor Ahmed leading the charge on that. And they're saying, unlike the HPV vaccine, which prevents cervical cancer, this will focus on the BRCA mutation that also causes ovarian cancer. 12,000 people die each year from this cancer. So hopefully, they can get something out and approved.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed, Nicole, because we own ovaries. So it would be great to keep them cancer free. And it's always great to see stuff developing within the medical community. That's the type of stuff we look for. That's the type of positivity that we want to see.
Speaking of keeping women safe, there was an allegation against Garth Brooks. Someone is accusing him of sexual assault. That came out recently. You have more details on that?
Sure do. Yes. Country singer Garth Brooks is now being accused of sexual assault from back in 2019. His hair and makeup artist claimed she was forced to touch his genitals and was locked in a hotel room against her will. So his wife has been, of course, defending him, and Garth himself has been defending himself, saying that is untrue. The truth will come to light, and he is not afraid to go into battle. Apparently, her lawyers, and she is going by currently Jane Roe in order to protect her identity, which I believe is a great idea. Douglas H. Wigdor, Jeannie M. Christensen, and Haley Baker, they support her. And they said, we applaud our client in her courage in moving forward with her complaint against Garth Brooks. The complaint filed today demonstrates that sexual predators exist not only in corporate America, Hollywood, and in the rap and rock and roll industries, but also in the world of country music. And it's true. Assaults can happen to anybody, by anybody. There's no gender, race, religion, creed, face to any of that. So we just have to see how it all shakes out in court. I can't say whether he did or did not do anything. I just know that everyone deserves their day in court, and the real facts need to be brought to light.
Yeah, it's harder to come out as one individual against such a celebrity. But I mean, when you got hordes of male and females coming forward, the power's in the numbers. Let's talk about Diddy. He's facing 120 new sexual assault accusers. And that's not even the total of people coming forward. They're saying there's 3,280 individuals that have been contacting Tony Busby, that is representing these 120 individuals. And they're just taking those cases. He's saying that there's 60 males, 60 females, and 25 of them are minors, the youngest being 9 years old.
Absolutely sickening. Yeah, there's been a lot of buzz about Diddy, so much so that even his mom had to come out and be like, no, that's not him. He wouldn't do that stuff. Would he? Did he? I don't know. Several other people say he did. And how do you explain all the baby oil and lubricants?
And the dildos. They found like 768.
All those dildos and that amount. Plus, why do you have GHB in the oils? Like, it's one thing to have them, but it's another thing to have pretty much date rape drugs laced throughout so it can go through people's skin. They are getting poisoned and they don't even know it's happening to them. It's really sick stuff. I mean, they're going down the rabbit hole. Listen, news is news, and it just depends on what side you're coming from, what platform you're getting it from, but everyone needs to do their own research and develop their own opinions. But I've been seeing some crazy wild stuff about Diddy. I heard, doesn't make it true, but I had heard that Aaliyah's death, Lisa Left Eye Lopes' death, as well as Michael Jackson's death was all orchestrated and carried out by Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever the hell he wants to call himself, Combs. And there was even a rumor scooting around that Queen Bee, Beyonce herself, was kind of in on the deal as well. A little bit of shaking hands, signing contracts, saying, we'll get rid of people that are maybe just as talented or more talented than you, so you can step up into the spotlight instead. You can be the new star. Now, once again, let me highlight my words and say, I don't know this to be true. This has not been proven. But the rumor mill, oh boy, howdy, that is spinning. So just everyone keep your eyes open and your ears open too. Get the pulse of the situation, and we'll find out. Just like everyone gets their day in court, so will Diddy.
Indeed. They're even saying with Kim Porter's memoir coming out that the suspicious circumstances that she died from pneumonia, like, was it pneumonia, or, was this another victim that was in this whole scheme and behind the Diddy clan? So yes, more details are coming to light. Let's wrap up the show. It's spooky season, and with spooky season, you get spirit Halloween stores popping up in any vacant lot. But you know what, after Halloween, well, Christmas comes, and Spirit, well, they are cashing in. They are popping up with, I think, 10 new stores that are solely just Christmas. Is this correct?
Girl, that's what I heard. Apparently, Spirit Halloween is owned by Spencer's Gifts, and they've been operating out of the Bay Area since 1983. Apparently, they're opening up 10 Spirit Christmases in the Northeast, being New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts. Here, it'll be pretty much like Spirit Halloween, except instead of the scary stuff, it'll be Santa stuff. And in fact, the big guy in red will be there himself, and you can take photos. But it sounds like as soon as Spirit Halloween is done, they just transition those stores, the ones that are selected anyway, to Spirit Christmas. Now, not every single Spirit Halloween is going to be transferred to a Spirit Christmas, only the lucky ones. But might have to roll up to PA and get me a little taste of Spirit Christmas, see what that's all about.
Gotta love it. Let's focus back on Halloween. What are you going to dress up as, Brittany? Have you thought about your costumes? Like, you're really big into Halloween. Me, not so much. Like, I'm into the candy and what my kid can bring back for me, but I'm not into the whole dress up. But you, on the other hand, this is your special holiday.
It's true. You know, I love my birthday month, October. Spooky season is totally my jam. I won't say I like it better than Christmas, but I won't say I don't like it better than Christmas. So as far as the costumes, you know, we've been doing the couples costumes for a few years running now, and we haven't officially landed on anything, but we were kind of goofing around with the idea of being Mario and Princess Peach. We were kind of thinking maybe Zelda and Link. And then we also kind of were thinking, you know, more like storybook rhymes, maybe some stuff on some old school fables. So we haven't landed on anything specific, but I do know one thing. We don't buy bagged costumes. We make all of our stuff at the house. And honestly, my man's kind of a whiz on the sewing machine, way better than myself. So props and shout out to men that can build vehicles, homes, do plumbing, AC, electrical, but also make costumes. I love it.
And I love it too. I remember you pitched one idea and it made me think of it because in Minnesota, I guess Paul Bunyan is a pretty big deal. And you had mentioned that you were going to do Paul Bunyan, and instead of the big blue ox, that like maybe your husband would play a stump and you would be Paul Bunyan. And I was like, all right, I got to see this. This is what I live for. So yes, I can't wait to see what you come up with. And we got to post pictures for everyone who likes to tune in and listen to us.
That's right. OMG. I cannot wait. And I'll tell you what, we're getting a little further in the month, so him and I better get started. But yeah, we definitely mentioned the Paul Bunyan scenario. And yeah, we were going to skip the big blue ox because I feel like I'd be the big blue ox and I ain't trying to be big or blue. So maybe going to have to be Paul himself and switch my man to the stump. Chop that tree, baby, after I climb it, you know?
I don't really know, but
me neither. We're the same height, girlie. I ain't climbing no damn tree over here. What can I say? But the truth.
But yes, that wraps up this episode, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
See y'all next time. Take care until then.